Hi. Okay, so welcome back to my channel. I hope you all had a fab weekend, which I'm sure you did, because look at this amazing weather. Like, it's beautiful out. Honestly, cannot get over it. Although I do kind of want to get over it, because at this stage I'm just kind of fed up with the sun. Honestly, I'm one of those people after like 2-3 days of the sun and I'm just like, no, go away now. I'm done. Give me back my Irish rain. Like, I'm fed up with this. So yeah. Hence why I'm indoors making video instead of actually out there enjoying it. But yeah, I don't know if you know this or not, but today marks the first day of Mental Health Awareness Week. So yeah, this is my little contribution to it. Well, part of my contribution. I do my own little things as well. But I just thought I'd give my 2 cents on a series on Netflix that I just finished watching called 13 Reasons Why. Now, if you've clicked into this video, then I'm sure you're well aware of the fact that this series has sparked a lot of conversation and a bit of controversy as well. It's caused some controversy on social media over the past few weeks over how it depicts mental health and suicide. I won't go too much into the details of what actually happened, but I'll give you a quick little summary for those of you who need to be reminded. So basically, the series tells the story of a young teenage girl. Hannah Baker is her name, and from the very beginning, we discovered that she'd just taken her own life, and she left behind 13 different tapes, so like a collection of tapes for 13 different people who she felt contributed to her decision for taking her own life. Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. And the series then just takes us on a journey, and we get to learn a lot more about the different characters, and you know, it really touches on like important issues like, you know, sexual assault, harassment, cyberbullying, neglectful parenting. Like, no one else mentioned this, but to me that's one of the things that kind of stood out to me, because throughout the whole thing I kept saying to myself, like, why aren't these parents involved in the lives of their kids? Like, how do they not know what's going on? Like, so yeah, that's one of the things that stood out for me. But yeah, in general it does really kind of touch on really big issues, which I felt they didn't really handle in the best way. But before I kind of rant on about why I felt the program, we can call it a program, why I felt the program really fell short on how it tackles like suicide and depression, I think it is important to commend them on what they got right, because you gotta give credit where it's due. So some of the things I did think that they did correctly was, I guess, they get points for the fact that they even open up a discussion about something that's so sensitive and so difficult to talk about, because a lot of people feel that, you know, if you don't talk about it, the problem just goes away. But that's not how you fix things. You don't fix them by not talking about it. So I really like the fact that they really open up a discussion for young people to kind of talk about something that is prevalent and it is happening. Like, suicide does happen. So I think by releasing this, I think it was more of a drama more than anything else. It kind of gives people a platform to really kind of discuss their own issues, I guess. Yeah, even though the producers dealt with it in a terrible way, I do like the fact that they opened up the dialogue for people to talk about. The other thing as well is it kind of like challenges us as well to look at our loved ones and the people around us, who we, prior to watching the show, whatever you want to call it, prior to watching it, we would have never suspected that they may be, you know, depressed or struggling with something mentally. So I do think they really open up our eyes and kind of make us more alert. Last but not least, the way the story is told, the telling of the story. Oh my god, honestly, I love how the story unfolds. As much as I hate the story itself, I just love how it's told, and the writing is phenomenal in it as well. So yeah, you can't take those 3 things away from them, in my opinion. But yeah, in general, I felt that they did a huge disservice to people who are actually struggling with suicidal thoughts and have suicidal tendencies, because they don't send the message that you can overcome hardship. Like, the fact that the young girl's Hannah, that she actually goes off and asks for help, she goes and she seeks help, and that just gets thrown in her face. Like, the school counselor turns a complete blind eye to her and just neglects her completely. So I think it's a terrible message, because it kind of just shows young people who are watching it that if they go off and try to get help, that they'll just be ignored. And the other thing as well is the fact that there's a second suicide. So towards the end of the last episode, well, it's suspected that someone else had also taken their own life. To me, it kind of reinforces the message that, you know, suicide is the only option. It kind of shows people that, it kind of sends a message that suicide is a feasible way of dealing with your issues when it isn't. So yeah, I would not recommend it to people who are vulnerable and quite sensitive to those kind of topics and issues, because it doesn't leave the viewers with any hope at all. Like, when I finished watching it, I was numb. I was completely numb. I just emotionally drained. The last scene when they actually show the suicide, it is so disturbing. So if you just don't have the emotional strength to deal with anything like that, then I would not recommend watching it at all. And I wouldn't mind, but the following day then I was due to help out my charity that I support, SOSAD, Save Our Sons and Daughters. So they kind of help people who are struggling with suicidal tendencies as well. And just being around that after having watched that, it just wasn't good for me, because I wasn't in a good place mentally after it at all. So just a message to anyone who's like struggling with suicidal tendencies and just depression or anything really. Suicide is not the answer. Like, it really isn't. Like, you're probably looking for like a quick fix to, you know, overcome your struggles and your pain and your suffering. But suicide is not that. It's not a quick fix. It's not temporary. It's permanent, and you cannot come back from it. If you're suffering with anything, go and get help. Go talk to someone. There's no shame in it whatsoever. There are people out there who devote their lives and dedicate their charities to this cause. So there is help out there. Don't think that people don't care, because they do. You just have to talk about it and let people know. Yeah, I'll leave a link down below for SOSAD and other charities as well. But honestly, everything in life is temporary. Nothing is permanent. What you're going through now is not going to be what you're going to be going through in the next 10, 15 years. So just get the help, because it's out there. And talk to people. So yeah, that's my message really. Stay strong, keep smiling, and keep shining, because you're worth it and you're worthy and you are loved. So yeah, bye.